Good morning. That took a hot minute. How y'all doing this morning? I am so excited to be back. Welcome to the KR Daily Transmission. This is the spot at Kaia Official on YouTube Live, where we explore all things Sophia Code, the journey of embodying your sovereign divinity, how to activate the intuitive and psychic gifts of your higher self, and how to open your heart to the sovereign potential of your life, your relationship with life, which is unlimited and extraordinary. This morning, we have many songbirds that have lined up to serenade us for the KR Daily Transmission. I'm feeling really happy to be out here with you. Good morning, everyone. Yay. Wonderful to see everyone introducing themselves in the chat. I wanted to thank you all for the wonderful feedback we received in yesterday's YouTube Live. I had no idea how much that prayer was going to impact our community yesterday, and that just brought so much joy and happiness to my heart to know how much you enjoyed praying for our event in Paris, which is happening on June 15th, and for our Lightworker community and family around the world. It just means so much to me that each of you care that much about one another. And we also yesterday introduced our topic for the month of May, which is strength and courage. I'm wearing the Saint of Sovereignty pendant, which is a pendant I designed for you to connect with and mentor with Saint Joan of Arc, who is a Magdalene in the Sophia Code. She's part of the Order of Magdalena. Good morning. Wonderful. Brianna is sharing that she just finished Mary Magdalene's chapter, and it was very emotional and powerful for her to experience. Thank you so much for sharing that, Brianna. It was extremely emotional for me to channel that chapter. So I'm so happy that you got to meet Mary Magdalene in that way and to activate your divine genome with the Key Code 5 transmission. And Teresa is sharing in the chat today that Mother Mary she's feeling extremely close to her today. And that's really good news, because our reading from the Sophia Code this morning comes from Mother Mary's chapter. And as we're getting ready for this extraordinary live channeled ceremony in the heart of Paris on June 15th, when I pilgrimaged to France before the pandemic, I got to see just how powerful this Trinity is, this divine feminine Christ Trinity between Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and Joan of Arc's legacy, and how they're each intertwined. Sarah's writing in St. Joan needs her own chapter. She's going to have her own book eventually. I can't even tell you how excited I am to channel that book. Just got a few other books in line that I'm working on. So don't you worry. Those words are coming, and I can't wait for them to land on the page. And so anyways, I'm so grateful that you're feeling Mary. I'm so grateful that you're feeling Joan and Mary Magdalene. This is that perfect Trinity for our Paris event to celebrate and get ready for, get our hearts really attuned. Each of those divine feminine embodiments are such exceptional mentors to work with for embodying strength and courage, both in your personal spiritual journey, but also in your spiritual leadership, and moving from codependency into sovereignty. Oh, Troy is sharing. I finally purchased a copy of the Sophia Code yesterday and started reading it. It's absolutely life-changing. I can feel it. Thank you. You're welcome, Troy. That's so exciting. Congratulations. Welcome to the Dragon Ride. Wow, there's so much great feedback happening in the chat today. Jennifer's asking, I had a question about my trip from our recent Austin event. When would it be okay to drop into my Stargate curriculum, because I am still integrating? If anything, you're going to be guided as to which parts of that Stargate curriculum that are going to help you integrate the enormous amount of activation that we all received, myself included, in Austin. So, feel free to go into meditation with your higher self, call in those key code mentors that you're feeling the most close to after Austin, and let them show you which video to work on or which journaling exercise that you can explore. I'm not sure which Stargate curriculum you're talking about, if it's 1 or 2, but either way, that's the best place to integrate with some of those profoundly supporting videos and teachings and journaling prompts. Thank you so much for asking such a thoughtful question. Let's see. Oh my gosh, there's just so much going on in the chat. This is so much fun. MC Pan is asking, I've been through the Sophia Code and have done all the initiations once. Is there benefits to doing the whole thing more than once? If anyone's read the Sophia Code multiple times, please blow up the chat with your reflections, because we share in the mystery school that you can read the Sophia Code multiple times, and every time you do, it's a different book, because every time you walk through the Sophia Code, you have actually integrated the divinity of your higher self in such a profound way that it's like you're reading the words for the first time, because your consciousness can take in the transmission in an entirely new way. And what's so exciting about those key code initiations is you can do those initiations literally over and over and over again. And the only thing that's going to happen is you are going to become more powerful, more purified, more clear, more lucid, more intuitive, more activated, more in alignment with your divine purpose. Like, look at this chat. It's the deal. and that's what's really exciting to me about the Sophia Code. I didn't want to write a book, and thank God that's not what happened to me. I wanted to be a part of something that was literally so life-changing, I could return to it again and again. It's, when I look at my art collection, when I look at what I am drawn to at an art museum, it's like, I want to go to those pieces that are so alive when I'm taking them in. I could stare at them for hours and always come back and learn more from whatever that artist was sharing in that piece. Now, of course, the Sophia Code is more than an art piece, but it's just an example, like an earthly example of what we're dealing with a living transmission. We call it a living transmission because it's not static. It's never stagnant. You will literally never have the same experience with the Sophia Code ever. It's always going to meet you in the present moment at your level of development, whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced student with the Ascended Masters. That's why I love it so much. And that's why we've had to spend so much time with that as an introductory volume, because when I start releasing the additional books in this codex, it's like, we got to be ready for that. And the next one that will be released is the Mother Mary manuscript, which I recently returned to, and man, it's really upended me. And looking at like where I am at now as a channel, based on where I was before, when I started working on that manuscript, it's like all of the teachings are going to be not this like relatively the same concepts, but I'm able to channel it in such a more powerful way now, which is really what Mother Mary deserves. Of course, kind of like always wanting to be an overachiever with Mother Mary. I just literally adore her. Anyways, tangent. I love all of this. Like, the chat's blowing up. This is so much fun to witness everyone sharing and loving each other and talking to one another. Thanks for being that kind of community that I would want to be a part of. Ashley is asking, I'm wondering if there's a virtual offering for Paris. We are currently working on that. So please stay tuned if we are able to find the right contractors. We've never produced a bilingual event before. We've produced international events, but never bilingual. So I want to thank you for your patience with that. And as soon as we know if we can get it live streamed with the right team, the right contractors, we'll be sure to let you know. And of course, if it's at all possible for you to be in that room when Joan of Arc literally stands on that stage and I get to channel her messages to, all of Paris and all of France in front of 350 people, I mean, please be in that room if you can be. Do not miss that opportunity to be part of such a life-changing, quantum rippling ceremonial moment in time. So, oh my gosh, Heidi is sharing. So grateful for you, Kaia. I just made a friend that is 88 years old and she wants to start reading the book. thank you so much for sharing that. I just want to share a little bit too about what happened yesterday. I got to interview our Sophia Circle leaders. I did 6 interviews that you're going to get to watch when I'm on my healing cleansing retreat. And I'm doing more interviews today. I've got interviews lined up all week. You will not believe how incredible these leaders are, how much fun it was to interview them, getting to know them, how they're rocking out their Sophia Circle journey ministry. It's extraordinary. And one of the things that I loved was witnessing the age range of our Sophia Circle leaders, like witnessing the wisdom keepers that we have as Sophia Circle leaders. And I was so, one of the things that's so remarkable for people about the Sophia Code movement is we have people in their 70s and even 80s that read the Sophia Code and they say, I've been waiting for this my whole life. We have people that are 17, 18, 19 in their early 20s. And of course, 30s, 40s, 50s, like that's usually the age that people start to wake up to their divine purpose. But the fact that there is such a huge spectrum of people that are awakening to their sovereign divinity with the Sophia Code is extraordinary. So thank you so much for introducing the Sophia Code to your 88-year-old friend. Sounds like she's ready for the Ascension dragon ride of the century. Super stoked for her. And maybe she would want to participate in a Sophia Circle journey with a Sophia Circle leader. So she's reading the Sophia Code in community with others. If you're interested in going on a Sophia Circle journey with our certified leaders, which I recommend going with a certified leader who has been trained for how to facilitate that sacred space of sovereignty for you to get the most out of reading the Sophia Code for the first time. Check out my official directory on my website at kaia.com. Yeah, Jenny is here. She's sharing in the chat. She's one of our Sophia Circle leaders. She said, it was so great to be interviewed by you yesterday. My 72-year-old father is reading the Sophia Code. That's incredible, Jenny. Yeah, Jenny. Oh my gosh. I love doing that interview with Jenny so much. Jenny is this extraordinary businesswoman. She really gets the Stargate 2 curriculum. She totally understands what we're up to with this movement. And she's currently leading a virtual circle of 22 people right now through the Sophia Code. Can you imagine the impact that's going to have on so many family and friends and people all over the world? Because every time one person awakens to their sovereign divinity and gets on that dragon ride of how to embody their higher self, like that's going to ripple out to their friends, their family, their partners, their coworkers, even without a word. Even without a word. It's so extraordinary what happens. So, oh yeah, Heidi's saying, yes, I'm definitely going to invite her into a Sophia Circle. That's just so amazing. Well, we have so many incredible Sophia Circle leaders that you can check out on my directory. We've even got when their next Sophia Circle journeys are coming up. So you can see like, oh, this person, I'm not only interested in this person, I actually know when her next journey is starting or his journey. And that's just how we want to serve you. We want to make it as easy as possible to step into your sovereign empowerment with the Sophia Code. So I want to share a little bit more about strength and courage. Do you like my hat? I got it in Austin. I loved shopping in Austin. It was so much fun. There's so much cool cowgirl stuff there after our rodeo, the Sovereign Spiritual Leadership Immersive. And this has like a Frisian horse, which is one of my favorite horses. I don't know if it was a Warlander or a Frisian, but Joan of Arc rode a black horse into battle. She had this big, beautiful black war horse. And so I love wearing this hat in honor of Joan's ministry and her ability to step into her strength and courage over and over and over again, no matter what anyone said about her, no matter how she was persecuted or tested. So anyways, there's another reason why I'm wearing this hat tonight, and it has to do with our reading in the Sophia Code, because something really special happened yesterday. And I love all these chats and the emojis, the horses and the cowgirl hats and the dragons and the fire. We have the coolest communities. So much fun. Okay, so I want to share with you a special story that happened, but I want to do it after we read the Sophia Code together. So if you have your copy of the Sophia Code, please take it out. Oh yeah, and Chelsea's here. She's, oh my God, so I was interviewing Chelsea yesterday. Chelsea and her partner are building out this like amazing temple in Denver. So if you're in the Denver area in Colorado and you want to go on an in-person Sophia Circle journey, holy cow. Chelsea and her partner, like they're creating this like dragon temple in her yoga studio to go on an in-person Sophia Circle journey. So be sure to check out if you want to join that in-person circle with Chelsea in Colorado. Check out her contact on my website at kaia.com. I might even make a surprise appearance just to check out the temple because I can't even believe how much love and attention and care and joy they have to create this sacred space. Chelsea Kyle, July 8th, in-person Sophia Circle journey, Denver, Colorado. Holy Mother of God, check that out. It was just really extraordinary to see what our Sophia Circle leaders are doing worldwide. It's, the virtual circles that they've led and that they continue to lead, there are still countries that people can't leave their country without making a medical choice, like our beloved team angel Corey in Scotland. Bless her heart. Can we send some prayers to Corey? Our beloved Sophia Circle leaders that want to come to Paris and they can't leave Canada without making a medical decision. It's just like they are leading virtually. They are doing, or Australia, total lockdown. Don't even get me started about what's happening in China right now. I'll literally have fire come out of my head and my mouth. So, let's take a moment to, honor the spiritual leadership of these sovereign leaders who have chosen to share worldwide an actual authentic sacred text that activates and awakens the sovereign divinity of humanity, and how they are just so focused on making that happen in the most extraordinary ways, both to support our movement as part of our team angels and also as our leaders, sharing the Sophia Code. And if you have a prayer to be a Sophia Circle leader, I welcome you to book a call with one of our team angels. They can help you with the application process. We get you through the interview process and help you really walk through if this is the right leadership training for you. And you can find out all about that at kaia.com. And our next live mentorship journey starts this September, right after our Psychic Sovereign Spiritual Leadership Immersive in Sedona, Arizona. Woo, can't wait for that. Wow, after what just happened in Austin, that shit's going to be pure fire. Cannot wait to dance with you in that lightning in Sedona for that psychic training. We did a psychic training that we evergreened into a curriculum that you can get on my website, the psychic development training curriculum. And that was channeled live in Sedona. It's extraordinary what happens when we channel in Sedona and we co-create from that space. Something very unique happens because that entire basin is about 98% clear quartz, which amplifies psychic gifts and skills. So if you're on the fence about enrolling for Sedona, take the leap. There ain't going to be anything like that you're ever going to experience how powerful it's going to be when we bring that sacred fire on that Sophia Dragon transmission to Sedona this at the end of August. So we have the leadership immersive. We have our graduation ceremony for our Sophia Circle leaders from last year's cohort. And then we have our Sophia Circle certification program that begins in September, which I am so excited about because every year this program gets bigger and bigger and brighter and brighter. And we're developing more and more ways to support our leaders, connect them to one another, and bring them forward to co-lead with us this movement. Super important to me. Really important to me that we understand this is a we movement. We are co-leading together. Woo, going off on some tangent this morning, but okay, here we go. So we're going to read the Sophia Code together so we can get back to today's teachings on strength and courage. So please turn with me to page 176 in Mother Mary's chapter of the Sophia Code. And I invite you to paragraph 2. In paragraph 2, we have Mother Mary sharing from her own experience about what it was like to lead, to fulfill her divine purpose with all of her feelings about it, okay? So because we have a lot of feelings that come up when we step into our empowerment, when we decide to fulfill our divine purpose, even when we decide to step up to the plate of accepting that we are sovereign and divine inherently and that no one can take that away from us. That's such a courageous and bold decision to live our way through, because it asks us to become complete with codependent viral programming that's keeping us small in our life. So let's continue. Page 176, paragraph 2 in the Sophia Code. And when you read the Sophia Code out loud, this activates your divine genome. It aligns you with your higher self. It sets the course for your day to happen, to unfold in alignment with, your personal power, your grace, and your strength and your courage to be embodied in unexpected and mysterious ways that delight everyone, especially yourself. So, paragraph 2, the words of Mother Mary in the Sophia Code. My heart always guided me to act with courage, grace, and strength, to respond in response to these demands, to firmly stand in the truth of what was important for me to feel. Regardless of all outer circumstances, I met every temptation to shun my feelings with an inner resolve to follow the voice of my heart. As a result of this personal commitment to never turn against myself and deny my own feelings, I became a living sanctuary of emotional safety for my own heart. The integrity of emotional safety that I offered myself eventually became an important part of my divine feminine embodiment for others to witness and empower themselves by my example. Always remember that listening to and following your heart will always positively affect the evolution of humanity far beyond your understanding. Okay, I love this passage. There's so much here for us to become present with, but I'm going to share a story about this passage that happened yesterday. All right, this is the story from yesterday is an embodiment of this teaching. So I'm going to read the first sentence one more time. Let's read it out loud together one more time. The words of Mother Mary, my heart always guided me to act with courage, grace, and strength in response to these demands, to firmly stand in the truth of what was important for me to feel. Regardless of all outer circumstances, I met every temptation to shun my feelings with an inner resolve to follow the voice of my heart. Then we skip down. What happens by that being Mother Mary's daily practice? Oh my God, the integrity of emotional safety that I offered myself, right? The integrity of the emotional safety that you can offer yourself. What happens? You become a divine feminine embodiment for others to empower themselves. So no matter how scared or anxious or intensely you may be feeling that makes you feel shaky, when you have the courage and the strength and the grace to lean into your feelings, to become one with the intelligence and the wisdom that they are providing for you, you become such a safe place for yourself because you're not turning away from yourself. You're turning into yourself. All of what happens over time is that practice becomes a knowing system. When we practice something long enough, we begin to embody it as a knowing system. This knowing system is what transmits to others a etheric permission slip that they could explore this same courageous decision for themselves. You can tell somebody to be brave, or you could be brave. You could tell somebody to be strong, or you can be strong. Which one do you think they're going to believe more? If you're courageous and strong in your own life, or if you just tell them what to do? That's leadership. when you are choosing to lean into your own growth, your own daily practice of strength, grace, and courage with Mother Mary and Joan of Arc and Mary Magdalene and all the ascended masters of the Sophia Dragon Tribe, that's what speaks beyond words. Your embodiment of strength, your embodiment of courage. Does embodying courage and strength mean that you'll never feel afraid? No. Courage and strength are active principles of God consciousness. They are the highest response that you can choose as you experience the rising and the falling of your human experience and this full spectrum of emotional intelligence that is constantly pinging your awareness about what's really happening inside of you in every present moment. You know, people believe that they can recover from rape because I'm doing it. People believe they can live a better life moving from the consciousness of slavery into the consciousness of sovereignty because I'm doing it. That's what's happening. No matter who lies about me, no matter who tries to knock me down, I don't give a shit. That's what I'm doing. I'm standing in my sovereignty, regardless of all circumstances. And I invite you to explore how creative and fun and wild, like how radical that is. It's not about not being afraid. It's about, what am I going to listen to? What is this fear really telling me? Oh, this is my growth edge. This is where I want to experience more strength. This is where I want to experience more courage. Right here, right in this shaky place. You know, everyone that got on stage with me, I don't think there was one person that wasn't literally physically shaking on some level. I think there was like one lady, and even then she ended up shaking on some, eventually shaking. Because stepping into being seen in our power, it brings up all of the fears. Being heard in our body's divine feminine wisdom, oh my God, brings up all of our fears from other lifetimes in this lifetime. But every single one of those women, they got in their cowgirl boots and they stood strong and they stepped up to the mic. They stepped into the spotlight. They let themselves be vulnerable and they discovered their power there. They discovered their holy fire. I hope we have men coming to Sedona because I want to do that with them too. And we did have some wonderful men at our conference in Austin. But like, let's be really clear, like sovereignty is not a female thing. It does require the divine feminine Christ principle of God consciousness to activate and awaken sovereignty. But the full expression of sovereignty is the divine masculine and divine feminine harmonized and working together as one. Okay, so I want to share this story to close our transmission today. I'm so excited. Everyone's having so much fun in the chat. And if you're watching the video replay, please be sure to add your comments, reflections, and feedback. And if you're having fun right now, go ahead and like this video because that would be super supportive for this movement and for this channel. So, okay, here's the deal. Last night, after doing YouTube live business meetings, we recorded 6 or 7 Sophia Circle leadership interviews in the studio. I don't even know what happened. It was like so mind blowing how much we were handling things with France simultaneously. I was like, I had an equine therapy session scheduled for myself to receive like healing and empowerment with my horse friends. So I go to the center that I love to work with and do this beautiful integrative session. I had so much to integrate from Austin. And I don't know if y'all know, but I'm doing this event in Scottsdale, Arizona in October after our event in Sedona. And this one is called Love from the Other Side. And I created this event based on an experience I had last year. And the experience that I had last year, I was guided to have a conversation with this beautiful Native American man. Oh my God, he was so beautiful inside and out. And he was a performing artist, and Sophia asked, just told me, go up and, thank him for his music. So that's exactly what I did. I walked up to him and said that. And then all of a sudden I saw his father, who had passed over to the other side, standing behind him, just as physical as the man that I was speaking to. And usually I do not do like impromptu readings for anyone on the spot, because number one, they're not, we're not in a healing container. It's not an agreement. And it's just because I can see their ancestors or their spirit guides doesn't mean that it's any of my business to say anything to anyone about it. So my job is to mind my own business and to offer it where it's meant to be offered. Good boundaries. So anyways, the soul of this father was so powerful. He almost reminded me of like a chief, and he implored me to speak to his son. So I asked him, I said, I never do this, but there's someone standing behind one of your shoulders. And if you would like to receive a message from this spirit, please just let me know. No pressure, like at all. I loved your flute playing, and I can be out of here in like 5 hot seconds. And he was like, yeah, I would like that very much. And so, of course, he didn't know what I do for a living or anything. And anyways, I said, can you tell me which shoulder he's standing behind? Because I wanted to kind of soften the introduction for him stepping forward and connecting with the soul of his father. And he told me the shoulder that I could see his father standing behind. And the messages that flowed through me from his father to his heart were so beautiful. It felt like a hummingbird flying in my heart. Now, I've been seeing people's ancestors and their loved ones that have crossed over my entire life. There hasn't been a time where I haven't seen those people. I had to make a choice in my professional career what I was going to focus on. But in that moment, I felt my heart open, that I had shared enough about the Ascended Masters and the Sophia Dragon Tribe that maybe I could start sharing this other gift as well, and even sharing with others how I use this gift, and to invite them to start using their own gifts to deliver these messages from loved ones on the other side. The most important reason why this had an impact for me is because his father was such a part of his purpose in this lifetime. And my mother, who was killed when I was my real mother, my true birth mother, that gave birth to me when I was 3. And of course, I didn't figure that out until later in life. And it was so shocking for me when I finally figured the whole thing out. And that she had been an angel by my side my whole life. It was like it completely changed my life, And in that moment with that man, I realized this is part of my ministry too, is to really help people identify how these loved ones on the other side are a part of their divine purpose in their life in this lifetime. Not every soul is like that, but there are certain souls that are, and those are the people that are meant to come to this event, or those connected to this kind of ministry in October. Well, anyways, last night I was finishing up my equine therapy session, and the same thing happened about animal communication. By the way, I don't practice mediumship. Mediumship is when you allow the spirits to come through your body. I just want to speak to what's going on in the chat. What we do in the Sophia Code Mystery School is we practice a form of channeling where your higher self consciousness is so fully embodied in your physical body that you can receive messages from any angelic order, any ascended master, and even loved ones that are on the other side without anything coming into your body. I do not practice trance channeling. I am a natural trance channel. I have refused that path, and I have refused the path of mediumship. We practice a completely sovereign form of channeling. So just want to heads up on that. It's very important for me. I've seen all kinds of weird stuff that people have to heal from around like old paradigm forms of channeling. Okay, that was just a side note. Okay, so anyways, the same thing happened with animal communication last night. I had an experience with a horse last night that blew me away. And I realized how important that animal communication, that, that beautiful animal telepathy, wanted to come forward in a big way in this ministry. And it's been something that I've been really sitting back on because it's a part of my vision for the Sophia Code Foundation. Like one of the things that we need to understand about this movement is like the fact that we mentor with ascended masters brings us up to such a sovereign level that then we can turn around and hone our psychic training, hone our psychic development with these other realms of communication from a sovereign place. And a lot of people, they can't tell the difference. And so that's really important to me, because if you're doing channeling work, if you're doing intuitive work without that, sovereign psychic training with the ascended masters, first and foremost, like things can get really confusing, weird, and sideways. So even with animals, many people do not understand that animals go through the same healing process that we do with trauma. They have very intense feelings, very hard feelings. They can get very stuck and resistant and even dangerous because, just like human beings, if their trauma goes on long enough, if what they're trying to break through goes on long enough without the support of those that are a part of caring for them, things can get weird and hard really fast for them. So I was, about to leave the center, and then me and this other incredible woman who's also a leader, we started walking back to this one arena where this one horse was. And we were talking about this concept that like how sensitive, how intelligent, how wise, how powerful, and how traumatized so many animals are. And they want to move forward in their divine purpose just as much as they do. They want to feel their sovereignty in relationship to us just as much as we want to feel that. I know that's a big leap for a lot of people to take in, but as like horses are leading the way right now, as well as dolphins. And this is why we have these immersives, because we're doing an equine immersive for our Sophia Circle leaders, Following Love from the Other Side, in October. And we're doing it with the dolphins this July. And these are two species that are the leading edge conversation about sovereignty and divine purpose from the perspective of these animal wisdom keepers. Not to mention the bees. Don't even get me started about the bees. I could go on for hours about that. So horse medicine, bee medicine, dolphin medicine, these are divine feminine totems for understanding the very somatic embodiment of your sovereignty. And so last night, I got to facilitate a 2-hour conversation between this horse and the center about how angry she felt that her divine purpose was being misidentified through nobody's fault. That it was a very complicated situation with funding and money, and there was a reason it was happening this way. And the conversation that unfolded was so remarkable because the more I was able to communicate her anger, her disappointment, her resentment, how painful it was to feel misunderstood. And by the way, she kind of looks like this. It's kind of awesome because I bought this just a week ago. I didn't even know this was going to happen. And her body would start releasing like all of this energy and the physicality of it. And thankfully, I didn't understand. I knew from her that she could have, given what was happening to her physically, that something kind of terrible could have happened that night. But what was so extraordinary was that we were giving voice to the metaphysical cause of the physical illness that was literally coming upon her right away. And to unwind and to unravel this emotional healing, this psychological healing that she was just confounded by. So many animals are so connected to their humans, they almost forget their source connection, that their source connection, their own connection to God is bigger than any codependent human-animal dynamic. Isn't that interesting? I couldn't believe it. I was having a conversation about sovereignty with a horse. I was like, what's going to happen next? Thanks, Austin. Thanks, dragons. Like, game on. Ultimately, what the Sophia Code as a movement is headed for over the next 10 years is this is a dialogue and sovereignty for all beings. Human, horses, dragons, angels, star nations, all of us. All of us. So the more you develop your psychic gifts, the more you're going to hear all of creation attempting to have this very painful breakthrough from codependency into sovereignty. You're not alone. They're all in this prayer with you. Like the way her body was heaving last night as she wanted to break free of this old paradigm where she was being expected to perform in a way that no longer served her personal destiny. She wanted to move into being a teacher, a wisdom keeper, an alpha mare leader for her herd at this center in a way that was going to push the whole center into a direction it's never been before. Teaching people about animal communication. It was like unreal watching what happened. Now, here's what I want to share with you. It took a lot of courage for me to step into that place, to share those messages. I had to embody how angry she felt to people I don't know that well. They've never seen me do that before. Somehow, by the grace of God, for whatever reason, that divine orchestration seemed to just happen to be that moment. It was going to go down like that, where that conversation was welcome. But I had to listen to my heart, and I had to listen to the feelings that were communicating to me her feelings, her messages. And if I shunned those feelings, if I wasn't strong enough or courageous enough to speak her truth, I don't know what would have happened last night, because there was a very physical thing that was going down that was an emotional like combustion of so many years of not feeling understood in this particular way that like, I feel like she wanted to take herself out. I mean, we had to get vets involved, the whole thing. This is why I'm saying you matter. Your intuition matters. Your courage and your strength matters. There are so many people that need for your heart to be open, for you to be courageous enough to stay in alignment with the feeling intelligence, the messages, the ministry of your heart. You came here, as Mother Mary teaches, to fulfill your destiny and live in your divine purpose. There's no greater training for that than the Sophia Circle Leadership Training Program right now on the planet. That certification program has everything you need, whether you ever lead a Sophia Circle journey or not, to teach you what it means to get into the rodeo of facilitating sacred space for a sovereign dialogue to happen between all people and all beings, animals, beings from higher realms. Like, it's extraordinary what we're opening ourselves up to. I had no idea so much opening was going to happen for me personally after Austin. I'm not surprised in many ways, but it's been kind of like constant lightning and fire since I got back from Austin. And I just want to share with you, like, if that's happening for you as well, like, game on, stay in the flow, don't resist. You don't know what miracles around the corner, or many miracles. Choose to be strong and courageous. Choose to invoke Mother Mary to help you become so in tune with your heart that you keep showing up. Yes, thank you. I accept, I receive. Showing up to receiving the blessings of your gift, showing up to the moments that divinity is orchestrating for you to witness yourself expanding in new ways. I kept telling myself for years, well, I'll confuse people if I'm channeling everything. I got to pick something, start there. And it was like, now I understand. It's just not a problem at all. I'm going to just be here to speak on behalf of anything and anyone that needs to have a conversation in sovereignty. And I thank you from my heart to yours for your willingness to show up to that same sovereign dialogue within your own heart, with all of reality, in your daily life, in your ministry, in your leadership. I love you all so much. This is super fun. Thanks for letting me share like all of the things that I had to share this morning. And I'm really excited to gear up for our Sophia Circle leaders, the interviews I'm going to record today and tomorrow. Yeah, y'all have a great day. Namaste. Many blessings. Love you. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Come on. It's the thing to do, y'all. See you tomorrow.